I feel like I speak for a lot of us when I say that the Vampire Job Pack has been highly anticipated in Bitlife for quite a while. And we're all kind of wondering what's the holdup, with Halloween coming out, it wasn't released. Is it going to be 2024 after they promised it like 2 years ago? But lately, a mini series I started on my channel is creating concepts for ideas that I think are going to be in the game one day, or things I know will be in the game one day. And a good example of that was when I created a model job pack concept in anticipation of the job pack, and I also did one trying to see what I think a celebrity dating app would be in the game. So I'm gonna save my concept video for the Vampire Job Pack for when it actually is gonna come out. But for now, I thought it'd be a cool idea to kind of sleuth the internet and dive into Reddit to see what people's ideas or what people think the Vampire Job Pack will be like. So this video is going to be reviewing your guys' Bitlife Vampire Job Pack concepts. And in case you guys forgot, I'm coming up with a podcast soon, so go check that out. Click the link in my description to subscribe for when the first episode drops. And if you want early access to that in the future, as well as unlocking over 30 videos, make sure you guys go check out my Patreon down below. So with that being said, let's just get into it. Okay, so here we are just on Reddit. I literally just went to the Bitlife Reddit and typed in vampire. So this post was posted by his tiny baby girl. So this is their idea or suggestion for the vampire update. Hopefully we get the vampire update for this Halloween. I thought the same thing, honestly. I was like, I thought there was no better time for them to release it. Other than Halloween, like marketing, hello. Here's some ideas of what they could add. Eternal life, aka you'd see your grandkids grow up and marry, so on. Be able to turn everyone else into a vampire once you are. Be able to have vampire kids, is that even a thing? Date vampires. Add a new career when you are a vampire hunter. So they think there should be a vampire hunter career. Okay. Could only die if you get impaled with a wooden stake through the heart. And what else would you like to see in the vampire update? Comment down below. So there's a couple of replies I want to go through as well. But the thing is eternal life, I feel like would be hard. I just think it's hard because they promoted it as a job pack. And it's like being a vampire isn't a job. They should have just made it like a way of life. It's just weird that they want to mix paranormal stuff or supernatural stuff with a life simulator, because the whole point of Bitlife is about living a real life, but being able to do whatever you want in it, like being a celebrity, being a doctor, going to school, being a dealer, being a supermodel. Right? So it doesn't make sense to me why they would mix supernatural. I'm very curious to see how they'll even do it. Maybe that's why it hasn't come out yet. It definitely seems more accurate for there to be a supernatural life. Like, I don't get why they would do dog and cat life, but not a supernatural life. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like their whole audience would be rebooted and everybody would play if they did that, because who doesn't want to be a witch, a wizard, a warlock, an alien, a vampire, a werewolf? There's so many different things, and that would give you the actual ability to have eternal life and see your grandkids grow up and get married. Being able to turn everyone else into a vampire would be very good. You should be able to do that, right? Because Vampire Diaries. Be able to have vampire kids. I don't know how accurate that would be. I do know that usually vampires are infertile because their system is dead, but somehow their like body is able to like move and their brain kind of works, but like they're technically dead. No. Date vampires. Yeah, there should be a vampire dating app. That would be cool. And so yeah, I guess with the vampire job pack, there should be a vampire hunter career where you can actually meet vampires. Like, you should be able to actually just be a regular person living in I keep going to something like a supernatural life. Like, if there's a supernatural life simulator, you would be able to be a regular person, but living in a mythical world with vampires, werewolves. So like, you can interact with them, they can attack you. So I guess if they incorporate that into Bitlife, you should be able to be a vampire hunter, have interactions with vampires, I guess. Can only die if you get impaled with a wooden stake through the heart. Yeah, that makes sense. Unless you surrender, of course. It also depends where you get your vampire info. Beheading, sometimes people say kills vampires. Fire, so it all depends. And so some other people said they just want to be immortal. That would be $16.99 for the immortal pack. Fair enough. And this person, No Kid 13, thought the same thing as me. There should be a supernatural life similar to Bitlife, where you can have powers and live in an alternate reality where the supernatural is real. Plus, being immortal in Bitlife will be fantastic. Literally, like, I I don't get why they don't do that. It's such a power move if they did that. I feel like they would break the internet, but I guess that's not the case. So here's another one. So someone accomplished_date just had some ideas for the vampire concept. We could be born with a castle, title, and money, like a bit of royalty, because it's true. Like you're living for so many years, so you're only bound to have a lot of money with thousands of years of generations. You could live over 150 years. We could die from the sun, steak to the heart, or garlic. In our avatar, we could have fangs. Yeah, that's a good idea. Small little servant. I don't know what that means. Vampires have servants? I didn't know that. Could murder people by biting them. Yeah, sucking their blood. And you would have to hide your secret. Yeah, like there could be interactions where this person thinks you're a vampire. What will you do? And if it's revealed, you'll get executed. Yeah. And maybe randomly get bitten by a vampire and becoming one. Yes, like you should be a normal person, and the only way is like the RNG of randomly having a vampire interaction. But thing is it just doesn't work with the job pack. You know what I mean? Like, how is it a job? You can't just apply to be a vampire unless the job interview includes consent to like bite them in the neck or something. Yeah, so I fully agree with these people. This one's hosted by Chelsea2510, and this thread, they were talking more so of how it would actually be a job pack. They said, so just wondering, for when they release the vampire update for Bitlife, what are you hoping to be able to do and what should they add with it? So Throwaway Torn 2545. Well, they already had Halloween special job vampire where you had to work like 20 years as a vampire. It was $32,000 a year before you're promoted to Dracula. So I think it'll be like royalty. You get a haunted estate, castle, palace, a high salary. Oh, that's true. And then maybe the option to turn others into vampires. Your children become vampires. Immortality. You live up to 400 years. You could get vampire hunter events and probably new ways to kill, feed on people, maybe seduction powers too. So yeah, it's just like a job. It's the fact that it's a job. But I get why they would want to separate it. I think they made it a job because they want to completely separate it from the game. They don't want it to like pop up because that would be more of a supernatural life, not Bitlife. So I get why they made it their own thing now that I think about it, because it would just make it too complicated. They would need to actually do like a supernatural thing in order for them to truly be able to do this the right way. Yeah, you could. But it's just like, what would the criteria be you need to get a vampire job? That's something I have to think about too. I haven't really thought much into it. And that's why I kind of wanted to check Reddit to see what other people are saying about it, to see what their ideas were as an actual job, not just being a vampire in the game. I do remember that Halloween special where you had to work 20 years as a vampire. Okay, so let's just say somehow it's realistic to be able to just apply to be a vampire and then you become a vampire. Okay, let's just say that's how Bitlife does it. So you'd immediately inherit a haunted estate, castle, palace. That makes sense. You need somewhere to live, somewhere that's haunted. Maybe it's 1,000 years old, right? Maybe you become like a secret government vampire. You work for the government. Maybe you're a hitman. Yeah, you have the ability to turn others into vampires, but you're paid maybe to turn certain people into vampires. Or like, what are you paid to do? That's the thing. Like, you should be like a vampire hitman where your goal is to turn people into vampires and you have like a quota you have to hit every year. Immortality, you could live up to like 400, but then the question is like, what do you do for those 400 years? Yeah, you could get a vampire hunter event. Yeah, there could be like little pop-ups of that. New ways to kill, feed on people, seduction powers too. It'd be cool to turn others into vampires. Maybe they'd let us live for 1,000 years. Yeah. See great grandchildren. Oh my God. It's like your kids start being like, Dad, why am I older than you? So yeah, that's interesting. But this is the one I really wanted to look at because this is a long post. This one I haven't actually read yet, but this is posted by Professional Organic 6. And this is their idea/suggestion. So they said, okay, this isn't too serious, but what if you could become a vampire? And here's how I'd like it. I made this about 2 years ago, back when I still played the game every day. But since I saw they're actually adding vampires to the game as a career, I thought I'd remake it with a few changes and adjustments. Oh, when buying a haunted house, the house can be haunted by a vampire. If you have a vampire, when they summon it, you are turned into one. That's an interesting way to approach that. But the thing is, again, is that's not a career. That's the thing that trips me up about this, is because it has to be a career. But maybe they can work their way around that. Maybe it doesn't actually have to be a career. They can just include it in it. Oh, you know what they could do? Maybe in order to actually be a vampire, you have to unlock the career thing. You know what I mean? But it doesn't actually have to be a job. Maybe what they could do is they could just have it be in boss mode, but it just is that in order for you to even become a vampire, it doesn't actually have to be a job. Like, it's not going to be a job, but to be able to be a vampire, it's just going to be in a job pack. I think that's the only way they can do it. Otherwise, it's like, how is it a job? As a vampire, you have the option to turn friends and relatives into vampires. Yes. No, you should be able to do strangers as well, like your boss or something. You have another bar. This is vampire powers. That is good. The power you start off with is determined by friendliness of the vampire. The friendlier, the weaker. The higher your powerful is, the slower you age. That's a good idea. For instance, at 1% is 10 extra years. And if you let the power dip, you are past the age you would survive. Otherwise, be able to live, but you would instantly die of old age. Okay, interesting. So it's like if you have weak vampire powers, you're not going to live as long. But if you're a very strong vampire, you're going to live longer. So they said there's 2 new diets. One called plasma packs. Oh my god, it's like in Vampire Diaries when they would drink the blood bags. This keeps your vampire power the same, and the other is fresh neck, which slightly increases it. No, there should be a vegetarian option like animal blood. Like Stefan Salvatore. Oh, but fresh neck slightly increases your power. They're thinking like 1% or so, and is free. However, there's a 10% chance of getting arrested. Yeah, because you're like attacking people. That's actually so good. Oh my god, I might use these ones for my concept. And then they said when you bite someone's neck in a fight, they always die. Interesting. You don't become tired, making you capable of working 70 hours a week without getting stressed. So I guess the high blood pressure thing. And then you can only be killed by old age and are otherwise immortal. So if you let your power dip too much, you'll die. And that's what they mean by being killed by old age. If this was added to the game, it'd be a new way of playing that's different enough to be entertaining, but not so different it would feel like a different game or be impossible to make. I think I don't know about coding. Yeah, I don't know about coding either. It's hard. But I don't know, man. On paper, this sounds like a pretty overpowered update, but I don't think it's too different from the royalty update where you get more money than you could ever spend, immunity from the law, and the ability to kill everyone you want. I don't know. My final thoughts with this is like, I just don't get why they promoted it as a job. They need to make a different freaking app that's not about dogs or cats. That's not about medieval times. It's not about the future or the past. But having a supernatural life is so overpowered. I don't get why they would make so much money if they just did it. If this was my game, can I buy it? Are you kidding? But overall, I do think they should take their time with this. And I don't think it should be rushed because they could make it so good. So I do think people need to like chill with the whole like, you promised, whatever. Shit like this takes time to be good because you want it fast, but you also want it to be good. It's like baking a cake. It needs 30 minutes at 350 degrees. Putting it on 500 for 10 minutes, the cake won't cook. No matter how fast you try and make it cook, it won't work. It needs to be 350 at 30 minutes. Can't do 700 degrees for 5 minutes. So it's like, you got to find that middle ground. And I just really hope that they're able to figure it out because I do think this is going to be hard for them, but I do think if they take their time and do it right, a lot of people will be happy. But I still can't get over the confusion of how it's a job. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to do a video seeing what other people were thinking because I was curious to see people's opinion on how it would be included as a job. But it seems like a lot of people are just doing the vampire concept rather than it being a career. And I just wanted to see if I could get a little inspiration for my upcoming vampire concept for when they actually announce that one's next, then I'll do it. But yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to go subscribe to my podcast channel down below. Go check out my Patreon, of course. And I will see you guys in the next one.